Welcome back, everyone. Central Texas is experiencing a higher risk of wildfires right now, with both Travis County and Austin issuing disaster declarations due to the conditions. It follows Governor Greg Abbott renewing a statewide disaster declaration because of persistently dry conditions.
Joining us now with more on how to prepare for a potential wildfire and what the response after a disaster could look like here in the state of Texas is Dr. Monty Dozier, director of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service Disaster Assessment and Recovery Unit. Dr. Dozier, thanks so much for being here today.
You bet. Appreciate the opportunity to visit with y'all.
So update us, we know this has been developing over the last few days. The conditions right now across the state of Texas have everyone's eyes on fire danger. What really makes it so dangerous, and what do experts like yourself look for? What are you watching for?
So the thing that makes it most dangerous is we have fuel. So lots of grasses have dried out, our brush is dried out. And then also we have prevailing winds that as the wind speeds pick up, that moves the fire danger risk higher because the flames can be drawn and pushed further across landscape at a faster rate. So those are the things we look at. We look at the dryness of the vegetation and then the conditions of the atmosphere. How dry is the humidity and how strong is that wind as we begin to look at events across the state of Texas.
Dr. Dozier, I understand the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension is a part of some of the resources that the governor has gotten ready in case wildfires start popping up, not just in Central Texas, but other parts of the state. Can you talk about what resources your agency in particular is trying to provide for that to get ready for something?
Sure. So one of the things that we do through Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service is work with our other state partners to ensure that there's messaging going out to homeowners and also going out to our ranchers and farmers across the state of Texas. What are some things that we can do ahead of time to prepare for wildfire season, such as removing any materials around our house, around the corrals and fencing that keep our cattle safe and keep our landscape safe? And also, how can we mitigate or work with those grasses, either by mowing them ahead of time to provide a defensible resource for our firefighters, or bringing our cattle in and intensively grazing those areas so that the forage is shorter as we come close to a fence or as we come close to a community.
You mentioned our ranchers and agriculture producers here in the state, obviously such a huge industry. We've seen them significantly impacted by wildfires in recent years. I'm thinking the devastating wildfires in the Panhandle. What risks are our ag producers particularly exposed to when it comes to a disaster such as a wildfire?
Yeah, so they have to look at the impact. First, they have to kind of get their cattle out of the way. How can we best move those cattle out of danger if we have that opportunity? And then how do we look at protecting the infrastructure of that farm or ranch? So the headquarters where we live, the way that we put our cattle in safe locations and fence them in a safe location. And then after the event, how are we going to continue to feed those cattle, get resources in such as hay, because we've lost that feeding potential from the wildfire as it's consumed the natural forage that is in the landscape.
In these final few moments, Dr. Dozier, we want to ask you about the recovery process. What does that look like when a wildfire has devastated or affected a rancher or a farmer or an agriculture producer here in the state?
Yeah, so the thing we begin to look for is, just like in communities, what was the damages that were received? We work with the Texas A&M Vet Emergency Team to go out and triage those livestock herds to see which cattle can be saved, which cattle need to be harvested, and which cattle need to be humanely put down. So that's one of the first steps. They need to do an inventory of their livestock. And we always tell them that a picture's worth 1,000 words. So take pictures, identify the numbers of their head that have been impacted, and get any kind of information you have on identification of those individual cattle, whether it's a brand or an ear tag, so that when we come in with federal resources, that will help them to pay for those damages that they've lost. The other thing we look for is infrastructure loss. And the main thing that we find during an agricultural event or a large wildfire is damage to fencing materials. So the loss of those fences that keep cattle safe from highways, keep cattle safe behind that fence. And the thing that we see is that is a big number. Several hundred miles could be impacted at from $10,000 to $15,000 a mile to replace that fencing infrastructure. And then we need to look at, so a wildfire is going to be a 3 to 4 month recovery. We've got those grasses that are either dry because of drought, or they're dry because they're in dormant season during the winter. So we've got to begin the process of some fall green up or spring green up from rain events to get forage back to those cattle. So there's going to be an economic impact of bringing hay into those producers. And that's one of the things that we try to do with what we call animal supply points across an impacted region.
Such important information for such an important part of our Texas community. We'll also note for our audience that we will have a local fire department coming in to talk a little bit more about what you were saying, Doctor, about preparing your home if you might be in a more urban environment. But for now, Dr. Dozier, thank you so much for your insight and for the work that you all do at the AgriLife Extension. We appreciate it.